The next half hour finds Steve in the cool waters of what should be the cenote he has been searching for. He will get in and free dive at first with no gear to see if there's available cave passage to explore. But there is no way to know without actually diving in to take a look.
Okay, so now we find out whether all that effort was worth it. Let's see if there's any cave here.
As Steve sinks below the surface, I am aware of one simple certainty. In the jungle, something is always watching. From the incredibly loud howler monkey, to wild boar, to wild cats, and to, of course, crocodiles. This jungle is every bit as dangerous as it is beautiful, and so Steve is a welcome sight as he returns from the murky depths.
Whew. Cool. Definitely worth coming back here. Plenty of cave.
Before moving forward any further, I think it is imperative we move back a few years to the UK and the genesis of cave diving.
The world's first cave dives were done in 1935 at a place called Swildon's Hole, located on the southern edge of the Mendip Hills near Wells in Somerset, England. The first dive was made by Jack Shepherd using a homemade dry suit surface-fed from a modified bicycle pump. Subsequent dives were made by Graham Balcombe and Jack Shepherd, with penetrations in Swildon's Hole reaching 170 feet into the system, and were the first successfully documented cave dives in history. Other notable cave diving accomplishments that can be attributed to the British are the first use of fins in cave diving in 1948, as opposed to the previous practice of bottom walking that would actually continue to be the preferred method until well into the 50s. Mike Boone in 1962 was the first to use a single hose regulator, the first to use side mount tanks, and also popularised the use of pressurised air and open circuit diving, as opposed to oxygen rebreathers that limited divers to shallower depths in the caves. Mike Wooding, a pioneer in the use of back mount cylinders in the caves, is credited with being the first diver to reach the 1,000-foot penetration mark. The 70s saw the likes of divers such as Martin Farr, John Parker, Oliver Stratham and Jeff Yeadon pushing each other further to new limits, with Stratham and Yeadon in 1979 reaching a penetration of 6,000 feet on a single dive, and Farr reaching a depth of 150 feet, both records at the time.
So here we are again at the end of the road. A bit of checking last night, and thankfully Steve has found a way in that has brought us much closer to the cenote that he will explore. Well, I am thankful. But Steve seems a bit disappointed that the newer road is here at all. As with roads come people, and with people come development. His world is shrinking, and I sense his sadness. But for today, there is exploring and diving to do, and in that I sense his excitement. So with that thought in mind, we head out. Within about 15 minutes, we come to a large hill that I suddenly realize is no hill at all, but a pyramid. A real unexcavated mine pyramid. It is hard to imagine we are hiking over what once was a city of possibly thousands of people. I am ready to hang out here a while and explore. Steve, however, having hiked over a few ruins in his years spent exploring, is not as easily distracted. A good section of this new way to the cenote leads directly on top of a nice, clean, and well-used game trail. The trail leads us through a spectacular dry cave. Walking through the cave and out the back brings a wonderful surprise, a beautiful and undiscovered cenote. What a great place to stop for a quick rest, as we still have a ways to go and we have a good 2 or 3 trips back to the truck for the rest of the gear. It is a beautiful spot, and Steve will make a note of it for further exploration. For now, a quick rinse and a few minutes to sit and enjoy the peace and think of what lies ahead. With the heat of the day at its peak, the well-rested explorer will make the long, hard push to our final destination to drop his 120-pound load of tanks before returning twice more to the truck for the rest of his dive and overnight gear. We have arrived, and it is just as serene and peaceful as we left it the day before. Everything seems perfect except for the fact that a rather large crocodile, along with a snapping turtle, have taken up residence in the cenote. Steve is completely unfazed and is ready for a quick break before heading back to the truck for the next loads.
Welcome to my world. This is my office. This is where I spend most of my working days, and this is also actually where I spend most of my time off as well. We're at a cenote, beautiful cenote, here in the middle of the jungle. And these are very, very special places, very natural places, pristine, untouched by man pretty much at this point in time. And that's why I love them so much, and that's why I love to spend time here, because they give me so much positive energy and make me feel so good. It gets me away from all the things that stress me out about the modern world. There's no people, there's no cars, there's no cell phones, there's no computers. So it's just a complete break from all of those things that are part of our modern life. And we come here and I'm just surrounded by the plants and the animals and all the natural things that we're divorced from to a certain extent in the lives that we lead these days. So I feel very lucky and very privileged to be able to spend most of my time in really unique and beautiful places like this. And the only real danger is that I end up spending all my time out here and I become a hermit and I never leave the caves.
I wanna fly down into your darkness.